Welcome back to Day Trade Like a Pro. This is the S&P 500. Real simple, looking at a 5-minute chart. We have our prediction points drawn in here. The blue lines are our critical prices, and the white lines represent our key prices, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit here. I want to walk through and do a little bit of a review here and some training and show you how you could trade a day like this, and personally what I was looking for here given the way that things went here today in this market. So let's jump over here. We're looking at a 5-minute chart. I'm going to blow this up just a little bit so you can get a little bit better view of it. And I want to really go through the story here. We have the market opened, it gapped up. We ended up pulling back down here within a tick or so of this KP. I would have been all over a buy right down here as it had not come back and tested this. So I was definitely wanting to buy if they were going to come down here. Turns out that the market moved from here up to, let's see, up to from right here at about 49, moved up here to about 67. So that was about 18 points up to there. This 68.50, and we got within 3 ticks of this price right there, and then ended up selling off from there, and that came back down into here. So ended up coming all the way back down from 67.50 back down here, just a little bit below that, and couldn't quite get back down to here. Only got down here to where this gap up happened, which is not always. That's not an uncommon occurrence anyway. The buyers stepped in here and gapped this up. They'll step in here and gap it up again. Okay, so let's talk about why would we not be buying below or buying here when it came back through here, even though it kind of reacted here, and why wouldn't we want to be a buyer right here, and why would we know that we could target at least down into this area? Why would we know that we could target that if we got short up here? Well, as you know, the market moves from CP to CP. So basically up above here, so from here on up to the next CP up there, which is actually for today, way up there. So that was 33.89. That was the next CP up there. And then below here, if we were to really hold below here, we would come all the way back down into here. Okay, so now that's confusing with the different ones on there, so I'm going to erase that. But you get the idea of that above here, we're going to there. And if we end up holding below here, we're going back down to here. Now, the buyers had really stepped in here on Friday, so no need that we have to come back and test this. Buyers had certainly stepped in, and we're holding this up. So as long as if we were looking at in between here, I'm just going to put a fib on here to just show you in between. The midpoint between these two bigger picture targets would be right here at 49.77, and they do end up holding that area right there and moving up higher. So this would be kind of the halfway point. This is halfway down to here, and halfway up to there. So we came up to here, held there, and then pulled back down to here, and that brought us back into the market again as buyers. Now this was all happening on Sunday night, so you might not have been trading that, but that's okay. I want to still have you understand the story as things unfold here. And then moved up into here, not quite back up to here yet, but then the market did, after it opened, probe up above here, it pulled back, it held right here, a very, very minor stall out right here, and then ended up moving up. We had 89, it came to 88.75, so 1 tick away from there. So there was a short opportunity there if you wanted that. That went about 7 points on the way back down here, and then came back up again, and then that one moved back down into here. And if you can see that, we had this little bit of kind of stalling out right there. So we know this was an area of interest before, and then they came right down into that area and held there again. 76 is the prediction point. The low was 75.50, and then that ended up being the swing low. And we didn't have a prediction point at 3,400, but in the live trade signals, we did have a short here at 3,400. That ended up being the high of the day. And we have a few things, we don't, this 3400 is from some of the other tools that I'll show you this week. So this week I'm going to show you some of the tools in the Pro Suite and how some of those work, and I'll show you where this actually came from as we get into that. But ultimately, this ended up working out okay so far. It got back down here to this 92. The market opened about 21 minutes ago. Has come back up into here. We covered this at 93. So from 3,400 down to 93. And really the best trade of the day was the buy right here, which is a little tricky because it was just kind of just above that. And then I do want to look real quick. And then the other trade, this was a great trade. We had this as an unofficial long in the live trade signals, and I know some traders got it. And I would have really liked to see a pullback down into this area. I'd still like to see that, but we may move up a bit higher first. So let's look right here. I just want to show you a couple of things. If you are trading this, as the market goes right here, for example, we break up. Maybe you're trying to buy right down here and you don't quite get that. When the market comes up here and then breaks, I mean, you can play this however you want. Some traders might take a breakout long trade over here, or they might wait for the break and a pullback. But then it broke and it held right there and it held there again. Obviously, we know there was a short opportunity right there. And then maybe you didn't get long right here, but there was actually another opportunity to get long right here. And this is that market stair-stepping, kind of what we call the market logic. It moves from here to there, and it's a very logical move up to this next price up at 96. So high probability there's a 20-point target from here to 76 up to 96. And then we had 34 for a short, and that ended up working out for about 7 points. And then we're hanging out right around here right now. And just as a sneak peek, if you have prediction points you already have, these are already out for tomorrow. But just want to show you what we're looking at for tomorrow here. And let's jump back over to 5-minute chart. And up here, we have this 04 quarter. And then there's a bit of a ways to go up to here. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But still looking for some retracement back down, at least back down into this area, minimum. And then very possible we could come back down here into the 60s and test that area, at least back down here to 73. So I'm expecting tomorrow or tonight, maybe we'll get another push up, but then we're going to get some retracement, most likely. Otherwise, we'll just go with it as we know that above here there's a high probability that we want to go up to this next price, and there's plenty of room there. So we can try it short with fairly small risk. If it doesn't work, we can end up buying it and getting long on a pullback and going up here. One thing I want to jump over and talk about real quick is about managing a trade. We tried a short right here at 95.50 just in front of this, and it came up and it kind of punched right through it right here and put in a high right there at 97. And why we're not too big on panicking in or panicking out or anything like that is because we trust the market that it's going to do. I mean, yes, we have this exact price that we're trading, but you can see the market ended up coming up here about 1.5 points against our position. It came back down here to 94.75, and plenty of opportunity to just cover that. Even if you didn't get out right there at break even when it broke, and then it came right back. And that's one of the great abilities that these have, is that even when a price breaks, it almost always will come back to that price. So if you look right here, it broke and it came right back and gave us an opportunity. So if I'm short a tick or two, or right at the price even, this came right back and I can get out around break even. Once this broke right here, it came right back, I can get out of break even. This breaks, I get out of break even. This breaks, it comes back pretty close here within 2 ticks, and I can get out of break even. Anyway, those are just examples of, it's really common that when we didn't have all these prices, but we did have this 89, and you can see when that broke, and then we had 96 right here. That broke, could get out of break even. And that's a very common occurrence that will happen. And one of the things that we talk about in MAP, with some of our more advanced traders is we talk about how to minimize your losses. We all know that it's not about how many times you win or even how much you win. It's about how much do you lose, and then are your losses smaller than what you are winning. And this is one of the ways that you can use to, there's strategies that you can use to be able to minimize those losses. And prediction points do a really good job of showing us where those areas of interest are going to be. So that covers for today. If there's any questions or anything you have, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer any of those. And again, this week I'm going to dive in. I'm going to show you a little bit more about some of the Pro Suite tools, and I will show you where some of these other prices, things that we're using to determine what you might call the trend or the direction of the market, and highly reactive prices that we might use outside of prediction points. And just to point that out, just so you notice what happened, is we had 89. Obviously this is the next day, but if I go, so we had above here, where's the market going? It's going up to here. That's a 20-point target, 21 points if we're being exact. And it did end up traveling up to there. So once we broke, and then 21-point target up to there, and that ended up hitting within a tick right there, it finally did fill over here. And that was our target coming in here to today. That was where we're looking for the market to get to. I mean, that price was on the chart yesterday. And it's pretty amazing how the market will travel right into those prices. Now, if this momentum can keep up and this breaks and it can really run here, we have back up. Well, actually, that was today, and now tomorrow, if we go back and look at tomorrow, then 20, 34, 25, 75. And then above that, there's also another 20-something point gap. So tomorrow, if the market starts to run up, there's a lot of volatility we can see up there. If it starts coming down, kind of a little bit different story. Might kind of grind and one at a time on the way down. But if there's some room, if it starts running, there's a lot of room to run. So, okay, that does it. We'll see you tomorrow. If you are in the live trade signals, we'll see you there. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us, and we will see you in the live trade signals in the morning.